The Curse of the Silver Lotus. In the mystical lands of the East, a humble scholar named Jian lived a life of peace and study. The Temple of Clouds, perched atop misty mountains, was his sanctuary. Jian was revered for his knowledge and kindness, qualities that made him a beacon of hope for many. One fateful day, while gathering rare herbs in the whispering forests, Jian stumbled upon a vision of beauty by the sacred river of whispers. The woman wore a flowing red robe, her black hair shimmering like polished obsidian. In her hand she held a silver lotus that seemed to emit a supernatural glow. "Kind scholar," she said in a voice as soft as a lullaby, "I am Lady Mai, a healer. I seek the Dragon's Stair, a gemstone of immense healing power, to save my people. Your wisdom is known far and wide. Will you help me?" Overcome by her plea and captivated by her grace, Jian agreed. But beneath her enchanting exterior lurked a sinister intent. Their journey took them through dense forests, where trees whispered secrets, and past cliffs that reached for the heavens. Jian marveled at Mai's resilience, unaware of the spellbinding aura the silver lotus cast. Mai wove tales of her supposed homeland, speaking of plagues and suffering. Jian's heart ached for her plight, and he pushed himself to uncover ancient maps and decipher old riddles leading to the Dragon's Stair. Yet, signs of unease began to creep in. Birds once melodious fell silent at Mai's approach, and animals that typically greeted Jian fled in fear. The river of whispers darkened whenever Mai touched its waters, its soothing murmur turning into ominous gurgles. When Jian voiced his observations, Mai dismissed them with a soft laugh. "Nature is unpredictable, dear scholar. Your mind must be weary from the journey." Days later, they arrived at the mouth of the Dragon's Cave. The air grew heavy with ancient magic, and the cave's entrance shimmered like a mirage. Inside, the Dragon's Stair glowed on a pedestal, its light bathing the chamber in an ethereal glow. As Jian stepped forward, his scholarly instincts pricked at him. The tales of the Dragon's Stair always warned of its guardian spirits. He paused, his fingers brushing against a protective talisman he carried, a gift from the temple's elder monks. Before he could take another step, Mai's laughter shattered the silence. It was no longer soft and comforting, but jagged and cold. Her form began to shift, her beauty melting into grotesque features. Gnarled claws replaced delicate fingers, and her voice turned to shards of ice. "You fool!" she hissed. "You've brought me to my salvation. With the Dragon's Stair, my powers will return, and I shall rule these lands with fear and fire." Jian's mind raced, drawing on the ancient scrolls he had studied. He clutched his talisman and began chanting an incantation. Mai lunged for the Dragon's Stair, but the talisman's energy created a barrier of light that stopped her in her tracks. The witch shrieked in fury, her voice echoing through the cave. Shadows twisted around her, forming grotesque shapes that attacked Jian, summoning his inner strength. Jian dodged and parried, using his knowledge of mystical arts to deflect her attacks. The cave trembled under the force of their struggle. Jian saw no path to victory unless he could trap Mai forever. Summoning every ounce of courage, he recited the ancient sealing spell inscribed in his talisman. A whirlwind of energy engulfed the cave, the light consuming Mai's form as she screamed in defiance. "You may have stopped me today," she bellowed, "but remember this. Trust is the greatest weakness, and it will betray you again." As the cave collapsed, Jian barely escaped, and the Dragon's Stair lost forever beneath the rubble. Exhausted and shaken, he returned to the Temple of Clouds, forever changed by the ordeal. He shared his story, not as a tale of triumph, but as a warning. Even the purest heart can be deceived, he told his disciples. Trust is a gift, not a guarantee. Use it wisely. The legend of Jian and the Witch of the Silver Lotus spread across the lands, a timeless reminder that beauty often hides the darkest truths.